Welcome back to another ESO guide. In this one we focus on snatching up Malacath's band of brutality. And for those who don't have time to sit through the whole video and just want the info, we got you covered, as we have left timestamps in the description down below. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. Let's make this a quick stop. We need to go find this really powerful ring I've heard so many rumors about. And don't worry, it's a lot easier than when we went after that dwarven mount.
Seriously, Robert? Is all you ever do is think about work? We're just gonna dig up half of Skyrim for crying out loud. Was that not good enough?
From what I can tell, there are only 5 pieces to go out and find to put this thing together. The creation of this thing did not sound pleasant. Just listen to the name of these things.
Sure.
First is the Brutal Scourge Hoop, then there's the Brutal Might Loop, followed by the Brutal Ritual Oil, the Brutal Ritual Dust, then the Brutal Ritual Core.
As fascinating as this all is, can we get a drink first?
Sure, why not? But about this ring, it is said by many that the hands that
Sure.
bear this heavy
A
iron
table for
ring
two, please.
instinctively
Make it
curl
quick.
into fists, and the sound of distant drums
Bring
and
us
clashing
mead.
steel fills
Lots
the
and
airs
lots
of the
of
wear,
mead.
imbuing them with the bitterness of orc kind and the strength of Malacath.
Seriously, Robert, don't you ever stop talking about work? Why don't you have a drink, relax while you wait on your food?
You're right. While I wait on my fishy sticks, I should have something to drink. Good thing I carry a little Harbinger lager on me. Let's go ahead and empty out this cup and, let's see, pour some in, and there we go.
Seriously, Robert, I can't take you anywhere. Just let me drink in peace.
Rose, I never took you for a drinker. When did you start?
Recently, I'm trying to drown my problems. Unfortunately, you're a good swimmer. How about a wager? 12 coins says you can't drink it all in one go.
Easiest coin I'll make all night. Yes.
How much meat does he need?
I better have a sit down.
Finally. Well, that didn't take long. Let's see here. Now, where was that room? Ah, yes. Oh, finally, the break I deserve. Peace and quiet at last. Huh. Now, where's that bed? Ah, yes, a bed. Oh. Time for some sleep. Huh. What is that? Is that a statue of Debella? Oh, I hope he washes his sheets. Well, who cares? Sleep, here I come.
Interesting.
No, you can't steal my money. It's mine.
Ah, those take me back.
Give it back. It's mine.
Stop right there, criminal scum! Nobody
Classic.
breaks the law on my watch.
Can't even get a good night's sleep without doing for that rascal. Oh, such.
Look who's awake. Did you sleep well?
What in oblivion is all this noise, Robert? What are you doing out here? I can't even sleep. And what is that thing?
Oh, I found that in a Dwemer ruin somewhere while I was tracking down Malacath's ring, which, by the way, was one epic journey. It all started when I went to this island not far off the coast of Glenumbra. It's called Becknick. This is where I got Malacath's Brutal Scourge Hoop. It was easy enough to get it, as I just had to pick off any of the random enemies around there. And there were plenty of wasps and wolves. But before I can get started with a little wildlife population control, I ran across a group of necromancers causing trouble in a nearby cemetery. So in the spirit of Malacath, I put a stop to them in the most brutal of ways. And then even got my lead while doing it.
I seriously doubt it. You do anything you don't need? You're not fooling me.
I've heard
You probably just killed a wasp. Nothing brutal about it. You're too lazy to do anything else.
Oh, but that was nothing compared to what happened next. I ended up having to go to Hrothgar, more specifically, Old Orsinium. This is where I found Malacath's Brutal Might Loop. To get it, I had to go in and take down any of the bosses within this public dungeon. But that would be the easy part. To get to the area that I needed to be in, I had to fight through a massive gathering of bears. To a skilled warrior like myself, that would be too easy. So to challenge myself, I tossed my weapons aside and stripped down bear to brawl with these bears barehanded, all while bearing a fierce war face. Arrgh.
Hey, you're finally awake.
You must be crazy to think I believe that. You, bare hand with bears. Doubtful. You probably ran and hid like a little girl.
That's exactly what my foes did at the next location as I waltzed in to get my lead. So there I was, in Stormhaven, staring down the entrance of Bone Snap Ruins, another public dungeon where I got Malacath's Brutal Ritual Oil. Just like the other public dungeon, I had to take out any of the various bosses within to get my lead. But as soon as I entered, I saw a fierce clash between the Daggerfall Covenant and a group of goblins. But that wasn't the only thing that awaited me in there. The commander told me I would have to sneak past the many dangers that lie within this dungeon to find my lead. So I did just that and eventually ended up in an open cavern where the spirit of what the inhabitants called the Eternal One waited. After viciously laying waste to it and the legions of skeletons it sent after me, I sat and gazed upon the remains of my vanquished foe. And you know what I did next?
Knowing you, you tried to take all of the rings and jewelry right off the dead corpse.
I just did what any other follower of Malacath would have done. I asserted my dominance by looking him straight in the sockets and telling him that all that he had was mine.
No, Robert. Only you would desecrate a corpse. Back to the matter at hand. You still haven't answered my question.
We'll get to that in a bit, but first let me tell you about where I picked up this next piece. The next leg on my journey was truly perilous, as it had me going all the way to Reaper's March to gather up Malacath's brutal ritual dust, which you can only get by taking out the world bosses around there. There was one in particular I dealt with. His name was Gravecaller Namaro, and our fight would be one that would go down in history.
Sounds like you ripped that straight out of Narcistren's book. I don't believe it for a second, Robert. Now, tell me, what is that thing on the wall?
Oh yeah, that thing was quite the find. Thought it was a simple black mirror used for Daedric rituals at first. You see, I had to make my way deep inside the Imperial City so that I could find Malacath's brutal Rune core, which is held by any of the bosses that wander around down there. You wouldn't believe it. It took a small army of people to even take one of those things down. But in the end, it was well worth it. This ring really does give you brute strength. This thing allows you to mercilessly pound anyone under 90% health, as it gives you a nice boost to weapon and spell damage, when they're in that range of course. It also gives you a 25% boost in damage, though with all that power comes a drawback. With this item, it takes your ability to do critical damage away while you wear it. Also, because it's a mythic item, you can only wear one of these item types at a time.
Robert, enough of your fantasy games. Nobody wants to hear about the I did or I might have done it. We all know you're not that brave. I'm going back to bed if you're not going to tell me what it is. If you wake me up again, you're dead.
Far be it from me to keep you from your sleep. Go ahead and rest well, we'll be quiet. And I was just about to get to telling her about the tonal vision system. The Dwemer's tonal architects really outdid themselves with that. Well, I guess that's a story for another day. I would like to thank all the members of the Phoenix Inquisition that helped by taking the time to come and help give some life to this video. And if you want to help liven things up, you can do that by leaving some of your tall Tamrielic tales in the comments down below. If you find yourself enjoying this type of content and want to see more, we have some playlists for you right over there. And before you go, you should consider subscribing and giving us one of those big old thumbs up. And if you want to be informed of all of our future content, give that bell a little ring. That way you'll be notified when we drop a new video. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go find a ring that makes this one pale in comparison.
What are you still doing here? You're confused, aren't you? I get the feeling that you're a very confused person in general. You have that look about you.